Nearly 30 years after Tupac Shakur was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip, the only man ever charged with his murder is finally going to trial. Jury selection began today for Duane Keffe D. Davis, with about 75 potential jurors called to court. Now, the process could take several days, and once the jury is seated, this trial could reportedly last as long as 5 weeks. Keffe D is charged with murder with a deadly weapon. And to be clear, prosecutors don't claim he actually pulled the trigger. No, they say he was the shot caller, that he orchestrated it, that he was the one who helped put this whole deadly ambush in motion. And if convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison without parole. But here's what makes this case so extraordinary. Some of the most allegedly damning evidence against Keffe D may have come from Keffe D himself. 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend. He apparently described being inside the white Cadillac, writing that, quote, one of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock. In a 2008 recorded interview with investigators, he apparently described his nephew Orlando Anderson saying he leaned over, rolled down the window, and popped him. 2018 BET interview, Keffe D said, when he pulled up, I was in the front seat. Now, the defense argues these stories were exaggerated, that they were fabricated, that they were all designed to sell books and get attention. They've even questioned whether Keffe D actually wrote the book. See, the problem with that is he once allegedly admitted he was the author in a jailhouse call. Okay, not great for the defense, but is all this bad enough to convict him? Because reportedly, no murder weapon, no car, no surveillance footage of the actual shooting in question. Are you going to have direct eyewitnesses? Maybe. I want to bring in somebody with a very unique perspective on this case. That's Robert Draskovich, Duane Keffe Davis's former attorney who withdrew from the case in March. Thanks for taking the time. That jailhouse call, problematic?
It is somewhat. But it won't be the first time that a man has lied to a woman. This is a jail phone call, and oftentimes people exaggerate, make up stories, and try and explain the reason why they find themselves in that certain set of circumstances. But obviously, a jury is going to take that into consideration, and that does create a problem for the defense.
Now, you know, it's interesting. I cover a lot of cases, and I hear sometimes people who say things in jail. You could say, listen, rough environment. Maybe they're just saying whatever they need to say to, protect themselves. Like you said, maybe you said whatever he said for a woman. But the multitude of apparent admissions, the argument would be this was all exaggerated, this was all to sell books, this was all to get notoriety. Is the frequency of it going to be too much for a jury?
That's a good question. You've already laid out the profit motive. Keffe D made a lot of money making these admissions. There was a book published. He's made multiple appearances on TV, and he's been paid nearly every time that he's made these statements. I would anticipate the jury relying upon the evidence, and you've pointed out that there's a lack of hard evidence connecting him to this crime.
Well, is there? I mean, other than the alleged admissions, what is the hard evidence against him? I was interviewing Alexandra Kazarian the other day. She said she doesn't see much. You once said, and correct me if I'm wrong, you described the evidence in this case as voluminous. What else will the prosecution present against him besides his apparent statements?
Well, during the time that I was representing him, I kept expecting there to be a new witness, some surprise development. The discovery in this case was voluminous. I mean, we've got 364 gigabytes of discovery, well over 20,000 pages. Throughout my review of that evidence, there was nothing putting him there in the car other than his own words. I'm unaware of a single eyewitness that will put him in the car. In fact, I saw in a recent interview, a jail interview, where he's saying that he wasn't even in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting.
But if they can prove that he was there, and they couple it with that interview, which can, by all accounts, probably used against them, that I have to imagine that could be problematic. What about the idea of any gang associations, any gang associates testifying and what his role was, or placing him in Las Vegas, or talking about any beef that he had? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, that's the state's theory, that he is the shot caller. That's a common theme. But again, the jury's going to need facts. He has to be there, regardless of what he has said. We've talked previously about these ideas of dual personas. I mean, he's taking some poetic license with this tale. People have done it for decades to sell records. I don't really think this case is really any different, absent any real physical proof.
What about Suge Knight? Suge Knight's in prison right now. There's a question of whether or not he'd be called as a witness, whether he'd voluntarily testify. Do you think that he could be a key prosecution witness? Hey, maybe even a defense witness?
You know, that we had discussed the possibility of calling him. He's currently serving a 28-year sentence in San Diego. I know that he has said repeatedly that he wants nothing to do with this case. In fact, I recall reading wherein he said that Orlando Anderson was not the shooter. But outside of that, time will tell, and we'll see through the course of this trial.
I'm going to ask you a very tricky question because I know you're very limited to what you can say. But any chance Keffe D would take the stand? He said a lot. Will this be his opportunity to tell the jury his side of the story in a different way?
It wouldn't surprise me, perhaps, if he did. He likes to talk. He's a very likable gentleman. He's quite witty. Over and over again, he's wanted to tell his story in open court. If he testifies, it wouldn't surprise me.
And we got 30 seconds. You think there's a chance he'll be acquitted? And then,
I think,
because he's the only one that's ever going to trial, it seems.
And one would expect the jury to hear from him. Through the course of the grand jury, the prosecution read the book that you had referred to, Compton Street Legend. There's going to be a dispute as to whether or not that, in fact, or those, in fact, are his words. There's quotes, the Invisible Man. Yeah. You read the book, and it's clearly not the way that Keffe D speaks. It wouldn't surprise me if he did testify.
Okay. Well, let's watch it together. Let's see what happens. Robert Draskovich, got an open platform. Come back here and see how this case progresses. Sound good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.